Hello, everyone watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, potentially watching it live as well, because a little live thing's just come up. I don't know where that's come from. It's another episode of NRG Insights. And for those who don't know, NRG Insights speaks to influential people in the market, and whether that be lending, broking, marketing, lawyers, anything that is kind of relevant to real estate finance. And at the moment, we're doing our Rising Stars podcast, where we are speaking to young people in the industry, as we appreciate the majority of us are dinosaurs, and we're always talking about how getting new blood in. So I thought for the second season we've done this, first one was very successful. Let's actually ask them about what it's like to be in the industry, how is the what are the challenges, etc. So on that, I have Jack Gray from P10. The name went blank then.
We've also
both just come back from holiday, so if we forget our names and names of companies, etc., that's the reason. But thank you for joining me, Jack.
No, thanks for having us today, mate. Yeah, at least we both come back with a bit of a tan each, and
there's a nice olive skin colour for this podcast. So for those who don't know you, so talk to me about where you are now, where you came from, kind of how you got into the industry, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I've been in the industry probably, I think it's about four and a bit years now. We did a clip for the marketing for P10, me, James, and a few of the others, and I went on and said I've been in the industry 3, 4, 5 years, and I got sort of a bit of stick taken on me because you work in finance, you don't even know how long you've been in the industry. So that wasn't a great start. But no, I've been at P10 probably, I think it was just over 3 years in May, which has flown by, honestly. Before then, I did a year at my dad's firm, NRG Financial Management, got qualified as a residential broker there, and then sort of qualified at the time where Liz Truss came in and the market just sort of went down the toilet. And I said to my dad, look, I'm a newly qualified broker with not a lot of experience and no real clients. If I wasn't your son, you'd probably be looking to get rid of me. Why don't I sort of go and look at elsewhere at a slightly bigger firm and see how things go. Because before that I did a couple of years with Nationwide at the bank, after I did my business and economics degree at university. So it's been a sort of, again, I think a lot of people sort of fall into this role or into this industry, but I'd always sort of wanted to work in finance, which is weird because my numbers have always been a little bit suspect.
2, 3, 4, 5.
The industry. No, it's a great industry and one I've really enjoyed. But my time at P10 has been brilliant. I joined there sort of 6 months in. They did a whole rebrand. It was Mess Financial before.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So you were there during that whole time when it was all.
Yeah. And when I first joined, the plan was I was going to be in the residential team under Fran. And then after a month, James and I, we disagree on this. He says he moved me over because my admin was poor to run the commercial.
You said you're a class commercial broker.
I like to think he saw the potential in me going forward and as a commercially minded man. But that was great, and to be in there with the rebrand and to sort of build the commercial team under James. It was just him and I for the first year and a half. Yeah. I'd never done a commercial bridge or development loan, so it was sort of a bit of a baptism of fire. But it's I'm still here, still breathing, so it's things are going well, I think.
How is it like? I was been learning under James as well. And Joe, we said this right. I was with you in Cannes, and I said you were doing a deal on the phone. We were sat in a restaurant. Sounds like a really hard life out there, but we were doing deals. But you were sat in a restaurant, you were doing a deal, and I said, "Bloody hell, you sound like a young James McGregor." So
him and I, he's like an older brother to me. We fight, but we love each other really, and he's well, I think we do. And all jokes aside, he's been fantastic for me. His knowledge is unbelievable.
He knows his stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a very specific style. I think anyone who's worked with him in the industry knows that he's very direct. He doesn't mince his words, and he just sort of doesn't have time for the niceties sometimes. If there's deals to be done and there's problems.
Got like an Eastern European sense of answering people.
Very much so, mate. He's no small talk, direct to the point, which I think is why a lot of clients like working with him, because he gets stuff done and he's he's very good at the hard conversations. There's a lot of hard conversations you have to have with your clients, us, lenders, brokers, valuers across the board. So I don't think many people like hard conversations, and he's very good at him. But honestly, as a mentor and someone who's sort of put faith in me and built me up, I can't speak higher of him, despite some choice words that we made.
Yeah, you might have an occasional row, that's allowed. But I'll tell you what, when you have a mentor like that, it's not like you don't copy every trait, right? You still stick to what you're good at. If you're more personable, or if you're more aggressive, or the way you do stuff, like having a mentor isn't the be all and end all of how you sell, is it? You have to find your own kind of selling lane. How have you how's that work for you?
Do you know what? I think you're absolutely right. I think having a mentor, I think actually as a young person in the industry is massive. I think everyone really could benefit from a mentor, or needs to have that someone with experience head on. You know, like you're saying, it's an older industry that sort of is budding in younger people, but to get to where, you know, the guys who've been in the industry 10, 20, 30 years have been, you need someone to sort of help, you know, guide you there. But I'd say James and I's style probably is slightly different in that sense, but I'm quite direct as well, but I'm probably more of a, probably more pragmatic, probably more of a talkative person. I think my strengths lie in.
I think the difference is you have to allow for the fact that you're a lot younger as well, right?
100%.
I think you get to a certain level where you should talk to people a certain way. I would the same. Like I'll speak to CEOs of business, and then people in the office will go, "You can't really speak to someone like that." And I'll do it in a jokey way because they're my friends. And I said, "No, you can't do that." But I said, "But I have spent 15 years working with them. Like if I call someone a prick, they know I'm joking. They know we had a fallout. But you know what I mean? But I wouldn't recommend young people that I'm mentoring to speak to people the same way as me. It's like finding your lane, in it, knowing how and when to speak to you.
That's how I felt as well. And, you know, sometimes James would say to me, for example, you know, push back on them and, you know, call them X, Y, Z. And I go, well, you could probably call them that. You've earned the caliber to call them that. You've got years. You know, me who's coming and never done when I first come in, never done a deal. I don't really have any respect anyway. So I think that's really what I played on. I sort of said to myself when I came in, right, you know, James said, look, I want you under the team. I think you've got the skills and potential for it. He said it's going to be a sink or swim. You'll either hack it in 6 months and it'll be great, or we'll have to let you go. And I was a bit like,
you'll know as well, wouldn't you? Yeah.
And I looked in the mirror and I said, look, I don't have the knowledge, you know, having not done any deals or lacked experience. I said, well, the only thing I do have is, can I sell myself? Can I go and meet all these clients he's trusted me with and sort of try and build that rapport and that relationship?
And that's the magic of being likable, though. I say this to the kids. I say to my kids, and it makes feel maybe for really old, but they're like, if they're not academic or whatever it is, I'm like, you're likable, right? And that makes a big difference. You don't see it so much when you're younger, but being likable is a massive trait to salespeople. Like people want to pick up the phone to you and have a laugh with you. You've got to be able to do the deal, right? But technically, I think we can teach anyone to do what we do. I mean, obviously, you can get more advanced, a bit like playing chess. You know, you can learn it in a minute, lifetime to master. But being likable, I think, is so important. I think it's overlooked by a lot of people.
I think it's one of the most underrated traits anyone can have in any industry. You know,
if you put it on your CV, no one would give a shit.
No, exactly. You can't say, I've got 10 mates. He's got 100 mates. So I've got 10 people who don't like me. So it's one that's hard to measure, but I think it's. You can kind of see it measured by perhaps looking at younger people in the industry and go, oh, geez, that guy's he's doing pretty well or she's doing really well. But
it's an energy thing as well, right? You know, you meet someone I've said that when we first met. Like you've got great energy. You see it in young people. You see it. I mean, you see it in everyone. You know what I mean? You match the people's energy when you meet them.
Yeah.
I think that makes good salespeople. I think people think they can just come in because you understand a product doesn't necessarily mean I want to buy from you. You know, it has to be more than that. Doesn't it? It has to be that wanting to pick up the phone, having that conversation, and people enjoy talking to you. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think even like if you look at brokers, I always say to friends who talk about or other people ask what we do. I say if you give me a bridging deal or a commercial deal and give it to me and 10 other brokers in the industry, eight or 9 out of 10 we should all get similar-ish deals.
Yeah, roughly,
Three might go elsewhere, but. At the end of the day, if we all put the same deal to you, and same with you, as in the recruitment side of things, it's the same. You're sort of selling the same service, so to speak. But the real point that people are buying you on is yourself, and whether you want to transact. If we all get someone the same deal, they're going to go right. I've got 10 people showing me the same options. Who do I want to transact? And that's it. That's all we can offer, really. So it is as much as we sell a product, a mortgage, a bridging loan, a development loan. Half the battle is yourself and getting yourself in the door in the first place, I think.
Yeah. You've really got to back yourself as well. I mean, you get to a certain... I'm 44 now. I know what I'm good at, what I'm not good at and stuff. But as a young person coming into this industry, you've got to back yourself, haven't you? You're speaking to people my age who are like sophisticated borrowers as well. So you can't bullshit people, but you've also got to really back yourself, haven't you, when you get into those conversations.
That's spot on. James said that to me at the start. He said, I like you've got a bit about you, but he said you bullshit a bit, you waffle a bit, and I said, yeah, I do a little bit. We all do a little bit.
He's waffling. When you don't know something and you don't say you don't know, it goes into like a 5-paragraph sentence, whereas actually probably it would be a one, wouldn't it? It's just
100%. And he said that. He said, look, if you do that consistently, you'll get found out in this industry, in any walk of life in this industry. So then I learned that very quickly, and I sort of thought having a bit of humility at the start was probably a good bit. And I'd say to some clients, we're talking with clients who've got 40, 50 million portfolios who are
Yeah.
40,
Yeah,
50
they're
years old.
sophisticated borrowers, aren't they? They're not just a
And
guy who wants to get a buy to let. They're
no,
sophisticated people
yeah.
you're talking to.
And it's sort of, you trying, if you go and try and bullshit them, they'll probably come back and they see through you very easily. Whereas
Yeah.
I think I've learned a lot of respect in just sometimes saying at the start, going, look, I don't have the answer to that question at the moment. Let me go and get
I'll
it for
go
you,
and
because
find out.
people rather
Yeah.
certainty. Whereas now, like you say, you know your lane, you know what you know. 3 years
Yeah.
on, 2 years on, whenever it
Yeah.
was, that probably the confidence here. I now know, right? Something comes in. I know.
I will say that as well. That just if it's scaring people about speaking to sophisticated borrowers, you know more about the thing that you know about. That you know more about the thing that they're coming to you about. Like
Yeah.
I always was shitting myself when I was first had to walk into like boardrooms when I went into lending. You're talking to people about, and my mentor said to me like, you know more about recruitment than they do. So
Yeah.
don't worry about the fact that guy knows way more about everything else in the world than you do. You
Yeah.
know more about the thing that they've asked you to come in and speak to about. So it's the same for you guys, isn't it? As much as we panic about talking to sophisticated people, you understand fine. You understand the thing that they've come to you because they don't get something.
Well, that's it. They've come to you looking for advice. You know, like when we were working on, you know, because we've done, James and I together have done some really big deals. You know, and
Yeah.
probably my highlight deal was a £9.8 million commercial purchase for a £14 million office in Reading, and that was, you know, what some of the clients on there, you know, really established clients who've done it loads, and you know, probably each are sort of 20, 30 years older than me, and it's sort of at that time of you know, it was probably longer in my journey. That was the start of this year, and it was.
Yeah.
I sort of found a point. I said to James after, I found myself having those conversations, but having them with real confidence. Because I know, and I know what we can deliver.
That's the difference as well. You're confident because you're not bullshitting. There's
Exactly.
nothing better than going to the room and going, I understand the problem you have, and I think I can solve it. Like
Yeah,
that
definitely.
comes across with it. Because if you don't know if you don't know the solution,
Yeah.
you're never going to
You can
solve
spell
it.
it from a mile off, can't you? It's not even in our industry, in any industry. If someone doesn't know what they're talking about, your confidence has gone in them immediately. And that's the whole part of building the trust and the actual relationship, and even the friendship with the clients. Because I look at a lot of my clients now as friends, because we built that relationship from the start. And that's all on trust, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what? Funny enough, he won't watch this. It doesn't matter. You know Drew from our office. When he first started, he used to say that. And I'd ask him a question, and he would talk at me for like 4 minutes, and I'd go, I have to stop you because you're not saying anything. You know, and now he's been in it a while. Go, I don't know, but I'll find it out. Cool. That's all we wanted.
Yeah.
That's all we wanted.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
People respect
that
it,
5 minute waffle is-
and you come back with you come back with more knowledge, and you're able to deliver the knowledge confidently.
And the next time you say it confidently, don't you? Because you've nailed it.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
No, absolutely. So, what do you think? What else? Character trait. I always get that bit. Considering I say it every week in podcasts. Character traits of like good, successful brokers, especially on the commercial side. What do you think is important? What do you think is the difference maker between someone who maybe are in and out of the industry in 5 minutes or going back to banking, whatever it is? There's nothing wrong with that. It's not for everyone.
No.
What do you think is the difference maker?
I think you've got to have. I think you've got to first of all try and enjoy what you do, and I think that only comes with experience and stuff. But if you're starting out, and like I said before, if you know you're weaker in certain areas, obviously you can, you know, like knowledge wise and numbers and all that sort of stuff, and learning deals, you can do that in your own time, and you can shadow people and all that sort of stuff. But I do think the key to success in this industry is putting yourself out there, being personable as much as you can. Look, it's also often a daunting thing to do. Like we always said, is older people in the industry, people with more experience, with big clients, with money and portfolios. But I think the best thing you can do if you're starting from the ground up is to put yourself out there and try and get in front of people. I think it's so underrated. The face-to-face meeting is so underrated.
Yeah.
Talking to a client on the phone who's ringing you and you're sounding a bit wobbly and you don't know the answers here and there, or saying, "Oh, can I come back to you in 5 minutes? Let me go and get that." If you go, and I made a massive point at the start, is any client James trusted me with, go and meet them, go and get in front of them. Look, this is me. This is how I like to do business. This is how I want to do business and where I want to be in 5, 10 years. I want to bring you on that journey and help you succeed as we all grow together. And also want to have fun along the way, because there's no point working. You can't have a bit of fun, can you? And if
Do you know what? It's interesting when you put it like that. If you explain to them about where you want to go as well, because everyone, and I'll say this all the time on here, maybe it's not true of everyone, but everyone I know, I believe you're a magnet for these sort of people. That everyone wants you to succeed. Everyone wants you to do better as well. I always, I repeat, done 150 of these fucking things. I always repeat myself, but I just think like successful people care about you succeeding. They want you to do well. They're always so. If you're really honest with people, this is the beginning for me. This is where I want to be, and I'd love you to be part of it. The same as us when we're trying to grow someone's business. Like we fucking love it, and it comes across at the beginning. It's so obvious that you love it. Then all of a sudden, like God, we want. If you're successful, I'm successful, and then everyone. everyone's in the same boat. And I never really thought about it until you just said it about explaining to someone about your actual personal journey. Like,
Yeah,
this is where I
I
want to
think
be as a broker.
Yeah, I think, and that's what I did a lot. I'd be on the phone to BDMs and I'd say, look, I hope you can just appreciate a bit of patience with me here. I'm just starting out. I've never done X, Y, Z, and hopefully in 2-3 years' time, we're going to be loads of deals together. And I laugh
Now
about
look,
it.
that fucking cocky bastard's on the phone after 3 years. Yeah, bloody owns the places.
Didn't know what to do with £500,000 bridge 3 years ago. Now he's doing a few million. Don't know. So it's like that, but it's brilliant. And I must
Yeah,
say it's
yeah.
credit to our industry because as much as it can be a daunting industry, like any can be when you first start out. I think I've met so many good people along the way.
Yeah.
Of all different ages, and I'm talking from solicitors to valuers to lenders to other brokers as well. It's actually you think it's a very competitive industry that everyone's trying to nitpick for
Yeah,
deals.
yeah.
It really isn't like that. I've had brokers who we've spoken to about deals or have asked us for help, or we've collaborated with brokers on deals or said,
Yeah.
oh, maybe you should go there on lenders as well. And I think, honestly, it's underrated how the community, and it's down to a lot of people like yourselves and others who have built, platforms like this and networking events and socials. That's all you can do at the start is get yourselves down to a lot of those and go and get yourself in front of clients, and you sort of build your own personal portfolio that way.
Yeah, yeah. How important for that is you about like the personal brand stuff? Are you good at it? Do you like?
Do you know
Because we go stuff when you work your job. I said this to him the other day. I think the P10 marketing is fucking unreal. I think it's one of the best in the broking. Obviously, I'm assuming you're paying a pretty penny for it as well because it's so good. It's professional. But how hard is it for you, especially as a young person in the industry, like to build up that personal brand? Like, are you conscious of it, or is it just something that you just think is organically?
Yeah, do you know what? I think it's a really good question as well. I think like the marketing that the guys that James and that have all done is really good, and also because we're a holistic business. We're not just we've
You're
got
looking at your accounts and you're looking at the financial plan.
all that stuff. So it's important to get the knowledge out there. I do find obviously LinkedIn is probably our main, as an industry, is our main sort of area for social. Although it's becoming a little bit like Facebook. It's Facebook for old mums and dads, isn't it?
The trouble is with it is where people hang out, right? So you do, but it gets a bit of an echo. Well, any social media, right?
Yeah.
Negativity spreads 8 times quicker than positivity. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
It should be like a button where you're not allowed to see it. But
100%.
But having said that, that is still where developers hang out. It's where your clients hang out. It's just where it's the nature of the beast. Like all of my clients are on LinkedIn, so it seems
It's
nuts
as
not
much
to
as a
utilize
space
it.
if you're not really on. I think a lot of people who are not in the industry would look at it and think it's a bit much or a bit cheesy. But I think if you're in our industry and you're not, and like you said, we go back to people celebrating success. You see someone on there who's value has just done a deal. You get on there, you give them a little like, a comment, a bit of support. That's how you get. We do a deal, we put something out, or we have a client spotlight or anything like that.
I love the case studies and stuff. I want to see people succeed.
Everyone's happy to see people succeed. That in our industry, I think.
It's funny how you get like you'll write something case study wise, and you'll get 50 likes. Someone puts something negative on about how the industry's shit or how Barclays CRM system shit. They get 300, and I'm like, well, our clients see these as well. Like, why are we talking to each other on?
Yeah.
Be aware of what you're saying to each other, basically, because your clients are looking at it. And for me personally, like I won't put like things like family issues on there or stuff like that. And that's just a personal thing. I don't think it's relevant. I'm always conscious that LinkedIn is my only social media, and it is for my business, and that is to build still friends, still build friendships, build relationships. But it's number one is to make me money and to build a network around me that's relevant to this. So I won't,
Keep it relevant to the business.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I think this doesn't sound really bad because people like to put like failures on there, which I get sometimes humanizes you. I think at the same time, if I'm looking at someone, I want to work with successful people as well. You know what I mean? So there is an element of be aware of what you're putting on, because if everything's negative, if everything's like, oh, failed again at this, failed again at that. Yes, you are human. Everyone goes, great, you're human, but like, fuck me, we all want to win, right? We all want to, let's be honest.
That's the thing. I think everyone uses it differently, don't they? And it's each their own at the end of the day. Freedom of speech. You go and put whatever you want on LinkedIn.
Yeah, you can just scroll on by as well, can't you?
You'll be some people's cup of tea, and it's like we always give James a bit of banter because he's very, very active on LinkedIn, as in with our marketing, but himself, and he'll call up certain people who put out he'll call out certain people who put certain posts on there, and he'll do it publicly, and he's like, yeah, I love it, so I'm happy to have it out.
He just likes a row. That's the difference.
Just likes a row, mate. Yeah.
I don't like the confrontation. I'm like, just scroll on by, but I'll just check for James's comments. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
that's the thing. Everyone uses it differently, and I think if you're in our industry, that's another thing. You almost.
I also think though, if someone calls you out, like, don't delete it. These calls you out because it's never like aggressive. It's just like, actually, if you looked at that, it's really hard to make £2 million EBITDA, whatever. I saw a post quite enough with them the other day going, oh, have you done 2 million EBITDA? Because it's really fucking hard. And like and you know what I mean? Like it's just, but that's honest. I think then people delete you or blank. I got blanked once by a developer. He blocked me because he put about like the devil, the better the what's the word? The necessary evil for the industry, talking about bridging loans. I was like, it's not a necessary evil, it's a necessary because you haven't got enough money to build it. And judging by what you're saying here, looks like you've defaulted. Because he's like, you took all my money, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, and if you borrowed my money, I would want it back. And if you refuse to give it back, I would want to charge you more money. Anyway, block me. And it was all like an echo chamber of hating bridging lenders underneath. I was like, this bullshit. Like, without them, if we all had our own cash to build houses, we'd build houses. Well, we haven't. So we need brokers, we need lenders, we need people to lend us the money because that's how we feed our families. But to slag it off online, if you get called out, like, it's tough shit.
I'm a big, stand by. If you say something and you believe in something, then stand by it and be prepared to take criticism. And that's, I'm
so non-confrontational on there normally. Like, mine is so generic. And never,
it sounded pretty confrontational there.
Yeah, I was only that one because I was like, definitely, if they've taken 400 grand off you, you've defaulted. Like,
everyone uses it in their own way, don't they? And it's whatever you think of it, it's a necessary.
You other platforms because obviously you're 20 years younger than me. Do you start to look at other platforms like you're aware that Instagram and that kind of thing is the next place where your future clients are going to be looking? Is that something you're on yet, or is it just?
Yeah, I think so. I think, and also so the P10 stuff, like if we've done deals or anything like that and stuff's completed, it goes on LinkedIn and it also go on Instagram as well, I think. And like I think obviously my generation are probably more on your Twitter or X, what it's called now, and Instagram and that sort of stuff. And I think when I've shared deals that I've done on Instagram, there's people from sort of past life who used to go to school with or through football or whatever it is who've gone, oh, I didn't realise this is what you did. I know someone who's an agent who might just be, and suddenly that's probably been more successful for me just because of the people I know who use that social media and didn't realise this is what you do for work, and I didn't realise this is the space.
It's the network of the network as opposed to your direct client.
And that's it. And I think, like you say, it doesn't almost matter really what social media it is. The more people that know about what you do, and do it well, can only help. It can't hurt.
You know what? I think it's interesting as well. Like, I would always make jokes from them. My posts are quite serious, but someone put comments on it, I always make a joke because I'm not very good at having long, serious conversations. But I think, like, if people don't like it and they think you're a bit of a knobber, that's great because that's saved us 4 hours of meetings for them to realise they don't like me. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, if they've looked and gone, this isn't the sort of bloke I want to work with.
Amazing. Great. We never have to meet each other.
No, I mean, it saved their time, it saved your time, and not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to like your style and my style, and everyone's got a different fit, and that's why there's so many lenders, so many brokers, valuers, solicitors, because not everyone's cup of tea, and the sooner you keep that, the better.
Yeah, that is interesting actually concept if you look at it. When people go, there's too many lenders, there's too many this, there's too many that, you go, there needs to be a lot of us because we don't all get on with it.
Exactly, and there's clearly enough deals that are going around. In the industry, it's been really hard, and last year or year and a half particularly as well for all of us. But we're all still here, all still breathing, just about. And
I said to someone the other day, right? Everything's just harder.
Yeah,
but it's hard. Like, we're not digging holes. I'm not. Hopefully, not. Most of us aren't on the breadline. It's just harder. You know what I mean? And that's especially for you. Being younger, like, you probably don't know any different. Like, you've not. This is the market, right?
Yeah, since I've left education, I think for me, and not just myself, for everyone, my friends and my age group, and even younger now, it's all they've known is the country's the economy's not in a good place, and there's wars going on. So you kind of, like you say, you get used to it, and even then you could look back when people say, well, it's not as bad as it was in 2007, 8, and before that. So.
Yeah. I did the 2007, 2008. Right, if you don't know, you weren't anymore. But the thing is, you just got through it. We're only talking about it now because it was devastating at the time. We all lost our jobs and that, but you still, like you say, you're still working. Still grafting.
As hard as it gets, we're survival. We're survival creatures.
I also think that a bad market, like a tough market, is where us as middlemen shine. Because if it's 100%. Easy and we can all go to our bank and all go to Barclays and we can all get whatever we want, we're no longer needed.
Definitely. If it was easy, there wouldn't be as many brokers, and there wouldn't be because there wouldn't be enough deals to go around. We sort of shine. I think
it needs hard-working brokers and hard-working lenders in every industry. Everyone that works hard gets a little piece of the pie. So when it does come back, we've all got a little bit more than we had last time, and then it'll go to shit again, and we'll all have to work really hard. But
Yeah.
it does get rid of some of the deadwood as well. Because if you don't want to work hard, this is not the industry for you.
Definitely.
It's too
The
hard.
cream rises to the top when in the hard time. James always says to me, you know, if you're stressed out and you're under pressure, you know, pressure's a privilege, because there'll be people out there who are scrapping around for deals or having it complete on a deal in 6 months, and you're going, oh, I'm worried because I've got 10 on the go. And I'm
busy,
like,
Do you know what? It does feel so ungrateful when we go, fuck me, it's busy at the moment, or it's hard. I'm like, let it be hard forever, as long as the phone is ringing. Like, you know what I mean? It could be worse. It could be hard because you're not making money, you're twiddling your thumbs, wondering where the next pound's going to come from. So difficult industry all day long. Over.
At the moment, we're all in trouble. That's
all you can ring out. There's no one to call. Like, so I've kept you longer than I said I would. I said it'd be 20 minutes, but genuinely, it is interesting to hear your kind of your take on the market. But if there are young people wanting to get into broking, particularly commercial broking, right? Because I do think if we are going to attract young people into the market, I do think commercial broking is one of the things that it's a sexier deal. It's not like, I hate the word sexy as well, it makes me cringe saying it. But it's like, it's not Doris's mortgage, you know. It's not like, oh, if I can save her £1 and you win. It's like, it's commercially astute people talking to businessmen. I think it is the more interesting side of the market. How do you think what should we do, or what are we doing wrong, what we're doing right about betting young people in?
I think that's a really good question. I think, like you say, it's not as probably having done the residential side and actually qualified on that side and done that first and then moved over, wasn't really planned, but certainly wouldn't change now and certainly wouldn't go back.
I'll tell you the benefit of doing it that way around. Sorry to jump in, is the compliance and the procedure stuff and getting it right. Like, so coming from a regulated market does help in an unregulated market.
Definitely. And that's apparently why I had to move over, because my compliance was so poor. But that's a story for another day.
It's because you've gone for us to broker. Don't you let him tell you.
He's just had so much potential, you know. Clearly, you know, he's got a talent for seeing, you know, future talent in the commercial space.
He's a talent spotter. Nothing to do with the fact you couldn't do it.
Definitely not. No, but do you know what? It's funny you say it, because I had a chat with a guy. It goes down to the gym with me, and he's a bit younger, so I'm 28. I think he's 21, 22, or when he was at the time. And he was working for the estate agents, and he was always regularly, strum up conversation. He'd ask me about what I did for a living and stuff. And then as I sort of moved to the commercial side, he was more and more interested. And he actually ended up doing his CeMAP, becoming a broker, and he's absolutely loving it. He's killing it, and he's doing really well. And he's now, like you say,
you give follow advice and they take it and it works. Like, it's so good. It's already just does a CeMAP off their own back. Like, fucking fair play to them.
Yeah, and it was a conversation we had for over a year, and I was saying, look, I think I've said to him, you've got the perfect personality for it. He's really hard working, and he's done it, and he's been absolutely smashing it on all accounts on the resi side. But I think that will then be the next conversation. Will probably be that jump into the commercial space. I think, if I'm honest,
especially when he sees your proc fees.
That seemed, his interest seemed to peak when he had what we were getting off a few deals. But
idea, not 0.3.
Yeah, when you're not getting a couple $100 for a product transfer, But no, I think it's not the easiest. I don't think it's often the easiest sell, but I think once you step into the industry or get a glimpse of it from the outside, I think a lot of people often will say to me, as a couple of mates will say, "Oh, you're never working. You're always at meetings or at events." And I think when people see that side of the industry, it is work. And, I try and explain it to the missus, but she doesn't quite see it as work yet.
Well, when you go up the Cat, my missus is in Malta next week for a trip with the girls, because obviously I'll go to Cannes every year. So it's the same thing. I'm like, I make more. I do more business in Cannes than any other week in the year. But she's like, you're on holiday. I'm having one.
It's a tough sell, isn't it? Sipping rosé.
It's difficult when they FaceTime you at a restaurant. You're like, I promise you I'm doing business.
Promise you I'm working really hard. It's a tough sell, but no, I think anyone interested in coming into the industry, and especially on the commercial broking side, it's good fun. It's very, very hard work, if I'm honest with you. It's to get to listen, I've got every day still a school day. I've still got lunch to learn and to go, but from where I started to where I am now, it's complete contrast. But that didn't happen overnight. It was hard work. It was help from James and other mentors, people in the industry, and a lot of disappointment along the way as well for the deals not working and stuff not going as well as it can be.
I know we always joke about, like, we always say that what's the most important thing, and everyone says resilience, but I don't think people understand how many, especially in commercial, I over liken it to recruitment. We have like 5 good days on our 20 shit days, and you've got to love the 5 good days. Do you know what I mean? Because we're not winning every day. Like, we're just not.
We're not. It might look like it because we're off at cans and behind closed doors, it's little would you know you've worked on a deal for 6 months that you think is going to earn 100
And for
grand.
no wrong reason, even nothing you could have done. You know what I mean? You know, when you always look back and you're right.
Nothing you can do,
How can I hold myself accountable? You're like, fucking just disappeared. It's just disappeared.
was even my fault. So,
Yeah,
that's the worst
you
part.
definitely sort of find like the correlations you can improve yourself. You're like,
Yeah,
it wasn't me.
Like this, like, you can't celebrate the good days without having some bad days, can you?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's all peaks and troughs in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. That's a nice way to finish it, mate. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, everyone listening and watching on YouTube and Spotify, and potentially live, because there's a live button above me at the moment. So it's somewhere on the internet at the moment. But if anyone wants to get hold of you, Jack, whether it's about kind of, getting into the industry or obviously deals and anything on the broker side, what's the best way to speak to you?
Yeah, add us on LinkedIn, Jack Gray on LinkedIn, or shoot us an email, jack@p10financial.com. More than happy to chat. And yeah, thanks again, Marcus, for having us. Been a pleasure.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll speak to you soon.
Top man. Cheers, mate.
Good, mate.